World will know your name. Good evening, Ghana. Welcome to Personality Profile here on Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Lexis Bill, and this evening I have another great conversation to share with you. Yeah, on Thursday evenings we sit with people who are doing amazing stuff in their fields, and we get to celebrate them and, of course, get to know about their journey, the highs and the lows, the good times and the bad times. And this evening, I'm even more excited because I've got an Odadia brother in the studio. Yes, in thy light, we shall see light. Yep, like I said, he's an Odadia brother. He's a very hard-working HR and industrial relations consultant who has sojourned in different industries and portfolios and has excelled in almost all of it. He's a fine politician as well, having served for 2 terms in Ghana's parliament representing the people of the Tema East constituency. Yeah. He also served as the Deputy Minister of Transport between 2017 and 2021 thereabouts. The media terrain is also something that he's all too familiar with. Yeah, he has worked as a human resource manager for Ken City Media. Maybe you didn't know this, but my guest played active soccer. Yeah. Before Messi and Ronaldo, he was there. I don't know how come we didn't push him to become the Ronaldo of today. But he played for Great Afenia United. Wow. I didn't even know this, but you will get to know a bit more. Currently, he's the Deputy Managing Director of the Volta Aluminium Company Limited, Valco. You know him as Daniel Nikwate Titus Glover. But some of us affectionately call him the original Choco Half-Caste. Others call him MP3. Honorable Daniel Nikwate Titus Glover is my guest. Welcome, brother.
Thank you, brother. Lexis Bill. Good to see you again.
I'm excited that you're on my show today. Honestly,
thank you.
I told my people that once I know that your brother is coming into the studio, dear Charlie, the energy is high. I love it.
Yeah, I know, because we always do the best things in the country. You know what I mean?
But the name MP3.
Hey, this is history. First of all, let me say good evening to your viewers and to your good self.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Tuesday evening, when I finished my show on Asempa, then my good brother and friend, Dominic Isiabu, accosted me and said, look, Honorable, you have to come to Lexis Bill's show. I said, oh, really? What's that show? He said, oh, personality profile. Because now you've moved from politics into corporate, so you have to come and pass through. I said, no problem. Lexis is my schoolmate, so I'll be privileged to come on the show. So I'm so grateful for this platform and opportunity to be here this evening.
We're happy to have you. We're really happy.
Then straight to your question as to how I came about by MP3. Tema East originally starts from Tema Mahia, Tema Newtown.
Okay.
The whole of the ports, both main port and fishing ports, Community 1, Community 4, 7, 8, and 9. And the whole stretch of the industrial area, the heavy industrial area in Tema.
Okay.
So in 2012, the difference that MPP was leading NDC from 96 is over 30,000. So cleverly, they have to do gerrymandering and make sure they push. And from Committee 4, Committee 7, Committee 8, Committee 9, that is where the chunk of the MPP vote comes from. So cleverly, what they did was that because my Ghana people are in Temamahia, so they quickly carved out Committee 4, Committee 7, Committee 8, Committee 9 in Tema East and the light industrial area, and went to Tema West and added Committee 6, Committee 6, Committee 10, Committee 11, and Committee 12 to form the new Tema Central. Okay. And this was done 45 days to the general elections in 2012. So I have to work extra hard.
Yeah.
And I won the election by a difference of 3.
3 votes.
At the time, the last pink sheet, I was leading by 23 votes. So when the last pink sheet was counted, the difference between me and Kempis was 20 votes. So that reduced the 23 to 3. Wow. It came about the MP3.
Wow. MP3.
And that record has not been broken. I still hold that title.
That's a miraculous win.
It is. He never understood, but that is divine.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. You have another nickname, Ricky. What?
Ricky Chima.
Ricky Chima.
Or you mentioned the first one, that is Choco Half Caste.
Yes.
I remember when I was in Form 2D, my mate James Okai,
Back in Presec.
I'm talking about 1983.
Mm-hmm.
And we're in class having some discussion. And surprisingly, we were talking about complexion, colors, of the skin. We then had a mate called D-Man. He's mixed breed. I mean, the mother is European and the father is a Ghanaian. So we're just talking, and I was, oh, D-Man, for you are half caste, so you don't come. Then James Oka, but I'm further than you. I said, yeah, James, but you also dark. There's, oh, your skin is like a choco half caste. And school. Immediately James said, please don't go there.
That's all.
The thing just ignited like a volcano.
And that was it.
I swear to God. Anywhere. And those days, I was a member of the school team. I played active soccer at the time, per se.
Yeah.
So this thing became half caste. They didn't add the choco. But sometimes they'll go and hide. And when they see you coming, there's somebody who will scream, Choco half caste. I say, hey. If I don't put the stop to this thing, so quickly, because I play soccer, Great Olympics had a player called Abdulaziz.
Okay.
And the nickname was Ricky Chiman.
Okay.
His playmate was Ben Kayede. It was called Selave, Danyanu, and all that. So, because I was a footballer at the time, I preferred to be called the Ricky Chiman to that of the Choco Africa because it sounded a bit odd,
It looks like people are bringing a lot more of your nicknames here.
Really?
There's some Dantaliga or something.
Dantaliga is a chieftaincy title.
Okay.
In Tema, given to me by the Dagoma community.
Oh, I see.
The Dagoma chief of Tema. Dantaliga in Dagbang means pillar.
Okay.
When you go to the north, you see most of the homes are built round. And when you enter, in the middle of the room, there's a what do you call it? A wood in the center that connects to the roof.
Right.
They use thatched leaves.
Yeah.
So there is the wood at the middle of the road. The room that is connected to the roof, and that is called pillar.
Okay.
So in Dagomba language or Dagban, they call it Dantaliga.
Oh wow. Interesting.
So it's my chieftaincy title.
Folks are just bringing stuff on our WhatsApp platform. If you're listening and you want to send us a message, you can send it on 055-1111-997. Let me say congratulations. I haven't had the opportunity to congratulate you on your new appointment.
Thank you.
It's been just a couple months, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just about a month now.
Yeah. How you finding it?
Oh, I'm humbled. I have thanked the president. I've been to him to express my appreciation for the honor done to me, and to assure him that I'm going to do my best. Because when you look at the vision of the president in terms of integrated aluminium chain, is so huge. Dr. Nkrumah, at a point in time when he built the plant in 1967, because we had deposits around Ninehin, Chebi, and Awaso, the vision was that we need to have our own bauxite processing plant. But because Kaiser also has investment in Jamaica, so they decided to put up the plant to process the alumina, and have the supplies from Jamaica to come and feed on VACO. Now the Americans have gone. Now President Kufuor bought the plant now. Now the vision of President Akufo-Addo is to see how best we can harness this bauxite deposit we have.
Okay.
So currently VACO would need a strategic investor that will come and partner us, because most of the machines are obsolete. So the marching orders is please go and do your best to make sure, together with all the team, the workers, the management, and the board, you'll be able to bring VACO up to speed. So,
but how are you finding the terrain?
Oh, it's so wonderful. As I speak to you, I'm going to orientation.
Okay.
4 months of orientation.
Ah, right.
I've been to the plant protection, that is security. Currently, I'm at Carbon Bake.
Yeah.
Carbon Bake is the heartbeat of the plant. It is three factories in one. You have the green carbon, you have the carbon bake, then you have the rodding department. So when we have three main components. If you want to process the anodes, you have energy, that is the power. You have the pitch coke, which is the coal tar, pitch, and the petroleum coke. That you mix them together to harden. So when they go through the processes, that goes to the baking area where they have to use high voltage power to bake it in the block form.
Right.
Then from there it goes to the rodding department where they treat all the the cutoffs around it.
Yeah.
Then you send it to the cell lines where they go and add the alumina and the heat energy to process aluminium. So clearly, I'm going to spend about 4 months in total.
Yeah.
From the carbon bake, I have to go to carbon operations. I'll go to the cell lines where they produce the aluminum itself. Then from there, I go to the cast area where they develop the molten aluminum into metal form, into blocks. Then
The
I
way
go to engineering and all that.
The way you're going on and on about the fine details, you seem to be enjoying your orientation.
I'm enjoying my orientation because it's a whole school.
Yeah,
It's a whole school.
Yes.
And it's a typical technical area. And I enjoy listening to the lecture being given to me by the area managers and the assistant managers who are walking me through the practical areas at the end of the day, because it's a huge investment and you need people that could really bring you up to speed. This is an area I've not been to there. Even though I started working in Aloes, it's another aluminum industry that depends largely on Vaco. This is my first time going to Vaco, the space, and know, the real operation in the plant. So
it works.
It's quite interesting.
It's quite different from your previous role and your territory around Parliament, isn't it?
Definitely, they are two different.
Do you miss Parliament?
I do sometimes. I do, because I serve in 3 committees. Initially, in 2013, when I went, I was on appointment committee. Then I was a deputy ranking member for the Committee of Trade, Industry and Tourism. My chairman was Honorable Amadou Sorgo, my senior, former MP for Medina, and my ranking member was Professor Jambafo. Then I served on the committee called Members Holding Office of Profits. In Parliament, when you go to Parliament, you can't do any other job. All your time and dedication is meant for parliamentary business. So there's a committee must vet you. There are lawyers, there are doctors, there are people with professions. Even if you are a businessman, you must appear before that committee to be vetted. Then you are recommended to the speaker to give you a certification. I serve on that committee. So when we came to power, I became the chairman for the Committee of Trade, Industry and Tourism, but that was short-lived until the president gave me an appointment for Deputy Minister for Transport. So I enjoy Parliament. I enjoy Parliament at the plenary. So long as I can catch the eye of the speaker, I can make my contribution very well, so forcefully. And but
we'll talk about life in there. I mean, you spent 2 terms in there, so it was quite a lengthy period, and you had a lot of experience in there. But let's get to know you and know about where you're from, where you grew up. Share with us.
Like this, I'm a typical Ga. My late father was from Asre, Fase. When you go to Gamashin proper, we have Sempe, we have Otublohun, we have Asre, we have Abula, we have Bese, Lantejanwe, Akumajing. My late father comes from both Otublohun, the mother's side, and the daddy from Asre.
Okay.
And my mother's father is from Bese, and the mother is from Tema.
Okay.
But I was born in Tema, typically, because my late father was then working in the ports. As to how they met my mom and all that, that is history. So I was born 56 years ago on the 28th of August, 1966.
Right.
I started my early childhood development at a nursery just behind my mother's house. It's called Municipal Day Nursery. But when you come to Tema, there is an old private school called Lexis Educational Complex, who were the pioneers of that school.
Oh, I see.
I think at age 3, 4, 5, that was when we started Dex Preparatory at the veranda in Site 13. There's a clinic in Site 13 called Lagoon Clinic. Directly opposite Lagoon Clinic, there's a house at the veranda. That was where we started.
I see.
Dex School by a West Indian. As a lady from West Indies. She started it. So when they were moving to their new place in Committee 8 currently, that is when I joined Chudasi Primary School in 1972.
So you say your dad used to work at the port?
At the port. My father was in the port.
So was it kind of a well-to-do home?
Oh, it's an average home. Our home was an average home. We are not rich. We are not poor. But so long as we can put body and soul together, at least.
How many siblings did you have?
I have, including myself, we were 7, but I've lost my brother who comes after me.
Oh, right.
in 2018. So currently we are 6.
6. Okay.
We had 6 boys. My mother had twins in the 5th birth,
Okay.
and the last one was a girl.
Oh,
so
okay.
currently we are 6.
Right.
5 brothers and one lady.
How was it like with a lot of brothers like that?
The first 3 guys were hard because our mother was a disciplinarian.
Hmm.
She doesn't give space at all.
Mm.
And she makes sure our father was the cool type. He doesn't talk.
Okay.
He speaks with his eyes.
Mm.
If you are doing the nasty things and just watch with that, because the next time you don't behave well, you get it. But our mother was that disciplined. She can shout, and even at this age, if I'm doing this, I'm not doing it. Say, be careful. You got to check yourself. So that discipline was right in the home.
Okay.
So
Who did you take after?
Second,
Who did you take after?
I think I took my mother's side. My mother was very hot.
I
I'm
see.
hot.
Well,
But now that I'm
anyway.
growing, I took my father's side now. I'm a bit reserved now and all that. So people who don't know me think that I'm too hard. But I'm a type, I take things easy.
I see.
As and when. But if I'm determined to get something, I go for it. All out. That's how I behave and do my things,
Were there Tema influences in where you grew up? Was there a certain kind of profession that you thought that maybe when you grew up you'd want to get into?
Initially, I wanted to go to the armed forces.
The armed forces.
After sixth form, I love the army. I wanted to join the armed forces. So I remember in 19, after my sixth form results, there was advert in the papers for officers' call. So I went to the Burma camp. I went to one of the officers. There was a WO in charge. You just look at my paper and say, no, won't take you, go. I said, why? So I was still sitting. I said, go. I said, oh, Master, why? I said, we don't need you, just go. Just like that.
No reason.
No reason, I should just go. So maybe I realized that is not where God wanted me to work. So quickly, let me leave. So after my sixth form national service at Enchi, far away in the western region, because all my life in Accra, Tema, I wanted to explore. I wanted to look at what happens in the countryside. So I told my parents I want to move out of Tema and go and experience rural life. Because back in Presec, I was a dormitory prefect.
Okay.
I was in Accra House.
Oh, I see.
So in Dom Form 4, I was made dormitory prefect in Dom B. So that was when I began to see the kind of skills that I have in terms of managing people, emotions. I never bullied. Trust me, back in school, I was not used to this bullying of juniors. I'm not.
You didn't show up at homo's night.
No.
And
I'm not enthused. I'm not enthused about that at all.
Okay.
So, to cut everything short, after the sixth form national service, I started working in Haliworks. Then 98, I contested for assembly elections and I won in my area, Ashiboy electoral area, side 3, side 4, side 5, all the way to side 11, and I won that elections. I went to TMA, then under NDC General Rawlings. May he so rest in peace. Then in assembly, I was fortunate to work with the former regional minister, Greater Accra, Honorable Nia Machti. He was the mayor of Tema at the time. I was made to be part of the executive committee of the assembly. Apart from the general assembly membership, you have a core few people that call the executive committee, that will prepare and bring their report to the general assembly and the plenary. So I had opportunity there.
Wow.
Then politically, I served in my party as an assistant secretary.
Hold on. I mean, we'll get into politics, but I'm just quite curious. It doesn't sound like you hustled at all with work and all.
Lexis, you see me sitting here. If I tell you my history, I've carried cooked eggs on my head to sell. I've sold meat pie. I've sold bread. Cooked egg. Because sometimes you hustle. Yes. In Tema Sports Stadium, I go and sell. I've sold meat pie. Baked meat pie. I've sold bread. I've become a cobbler, shoemaker.
Hey.
You see the bong, 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 bong?
Yeah.
I've done one before. Right in front of my mother's house. Just to raise money. Even though my father was working in the port, we go and hustle in the port as well. You go and carry cocoa. Those days in Presec, I've been a tally clerk in the port. Behind my mother's house, there's a co-store, very one of the prominent co-stores in Tema called Monkwazi Co-store. As young boys, we go and hustle there as well. You see, in the co-store, when these women go and buy the fish and the forklift bring it out, right on the compound of Monkwazi Co-store, there are a lot of fishes that have been packed. If you are not careful, you mistake somebody's fish to be yours. So normally what they do is that they mark them with their names.
Right.
Maybe you bought a whole pack of fish, Stonewall, myself. So you need to identify your fish.
Yeah.
And we have something we call there's a color that you mix with the water in a
Okay.
container with a brush. That you write your name on each carton of fish to identify this is your own. One carton fish, when you mark it, there's a money that we charge those days.
I see.
Sometimes we even carry the fish. Then we even repackage the fish itself. We call it afiolo.
Yeah.
Because in the coastal is wet. So when it comes out, the handling and stuff gets the package to be torn. So you need to repackage it again with a fresh cardboard and some, ropes just to make it solid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All this is with me before. The only thing I haven't done is not going to fishing. Because my dad never allowed us when we go and visit our granny at the fishing to Newtown. I've not been to fishing before.
Okay.
But in terms of hustle, real hustle, I've done all.
So wait, was it because times were so hard, or what was it?
Of course, you may not get things rosy all the time, and growing up, you don't expect your parents to give you everything on your own. You need to hustle and get something to do as a young boy to put in your pocket.
I see.
So we went through as a young boy growing up at a teen. That was when I was selling the bread, the meat pie, the cooked egg, and all that. But when I got to my teens, 17, 18, I finished Presec at the age of 20.
Oh, wow.
So we did a lot, hustle to get something, and push.
What's the biggest lesson your father taught you?
My dad is about his humility. A very hard-working man, very tall, huge, like this roof.
Oh, is it?
Yes, about his humility and service. My dad can speak so many languages. He can speak Hausa, he can speak Zamanama, he can speak Gao, and others. One thing I've learned from him since his demise 33 years ago is about his humility. And for me, in my politics that I do, I respect everybody regardless. And hard work. Hard work.
Yeah.
These two things, humility and hard work.
I see. So your mission to become a serviceman in the army didn't work.
It truncated because
They kicked you out.
out. The BA said, no, just look at it. Maybe he didn't know when they'll come and do coup or something.
You are capable.
No. That is not. Because you see, one person that also inspired me at the time to join the armed forces was Lady Rawlings.
Oh, is it?
Yes, because when we were in school, the Democratic Youth League of Ghana, the revolution was there,
Yeah.
I like his charisma. And the fact that Rawlings was so selfless at the time.
I see.
And that really pushed me that I
You
wanted
want
to
to be
join
in the
the
military.
armed forces, but unfortunately that never materialized.
All that charisma didn't get you to admire the NDC?
That is the only difference. That is the only difference. Because at that time, I was also admiring Nanado at the time.
Even at the time?
Yes, he was my role model. Even though I liked Jerry Rawlings with his charisma and his selflessness and all that, I was quietly admiring Nanado way back at that time. So my instinct doesn't tell me to go to the NDC.
I see.
I had good friends. My parents were CPP. In fact, my late father was an organizer for the CPP at the time. But just that my instinct doesn't tell me to go to the NDC.
I see.
And let me tell you this story. When I was in assembly at the time, in 1998-99, Honorable Niamashte, this statement I'm making, whatever he is, I greet him, he will attest to it. He tried so hard to convert me to the NDC. He converted Kempis, the current NDC chairman for Tema East. He was a secretary, our first secretary for the MPP in Tema East. So they got him in 98. So I was the next target to follow. He tried and tried and tried and tried. He could not succeed. So when we opened Texpo, you know Texpo on the Bachona area?
Right.
This is a big land, government land that has been encroached. So near much they have to wall it. And we turn the place into Tema Trade Center. And during the commissioning, the local government minister then was Honorable Kwame Nahoy. So we're all holding the tape. Then Honorable Nyamashite told Honorable Kwame Nahoy that, look, sir, this is my very good friend of mine, strong NPP. I've been telling him to come and join NDC, and he's not willing. Can you please speak to him? The Honorable Kwame Nahoy just stands and said, young man, as for NPP, would like big coat? Come to NDC. So because I lived in Enchi where I did my 6-4 national service, I picked the dialects.
Yeah.
They speak Seshi, Brosa.
Okay.
And Kwame Nahoy's father was from that area.
Okay.
So I could flow in their dialect. So I responded, I said, oh, Prime, Bochile, I'm over party Mingro for you. So when I spoke in the dialect that their NDC party, I don't like it, they said, Nema, the man is speaking to me in my dialect. He said he doesn't like NDC. So clearly, if I'd wanted to join NDC, I would have gone way back.
Nice.
But my instinct doesn't allow me to.
Let's talk about. So I actually asked because now I'm wondering what course you offered in Presec and what path were you trying to chart at the time?
I did business.
Okay.
I did accounting and economics, commerce. Then 6th form, I did accounting, economics, general arts, and religious studies.
So you were heading into the world of business.
Business.
I see.
So that was the angle in which I was going.
Yeah.
But eventually, it shifted.
It shifted again.
Yeah.
I see. But how was life in Presec?
Oh, it was all fun. And for me, I live like somebody from a very low ground. I don't like trouble. But I remember at one time, during school reopening, Form 4, we were weeding. Even Form 4, we weed the houses.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Apiedu was the headmaster at the time. And there was morning breakfast. So I went to the dining hall with my sleeveless white shirt. And this man, he saw me and said, hey, why are you wearing sleeveless? I said, oh, we're weeding. He said, what do you mean? Come on, get out, leave here. Go home. Hey, what am I going to do? So I thought it was just normal discipline and all that. So I was sleeping way in the night. I'm sure it will be about after 11 or 12. Somebody was just tapping me. When I raised my head. I said, come here. Didn't I ask you to go home? I said, oh, what's that? Oh, you're from my wedding.
Hey.
So in the next morning, I have to go home and bring my parents. My dad came to the school. In fact, my auntie was even working at the kitchen. She even went to speak to Mr. Apiedu for me to let go because I haven't done anything wrong except that I was wearing a white shirt, sleeveless, and we're weeding. Normally, you have to wear T-shirt or something. Yeah. But I wore a sleeveless white shirt and my khaki shorts just to go and weed. So I didn't do anything untoward. So he played, but that discipline was there in per se, and because I was good with the football, I had that leverage with the seniors because I could play the school team and all that. So back in campus was all fun. But I took my studies so very seriously.
A proud
and our Accra House too was a sports house.
Right.
Yeah, Accra House was a sports. Which house were you?
I was in house 8 actually.
You are the new you people.
Much later.
You people.
Latter day saints.
Latter day saints.
I see. A proud or that the 86-year group.
Yeah, I left in 86.
86. Yeah. All right.
Lawyer Safo Boabing, Rongali. Alometu, Ezekiel Dakun, and I have a medical doctor at the police hospital, Utunyaku.
Okay.
Then when you go to 37, we have my other medical doctor mate. The name will come up.
A lot of them.
A lot of
A
them.
lot
A
of
lot of
them.
them. A lot of them.
I think you should do we should do the anthem. Don't you think so?
The end of it, or right now?
Oh, right now we should
Okay.
we should hail.
Happy are we? Let's go.
Happy are we, studious are we, students of Presbyterian Secondary School. Onward we march, we trod along to happy victory, to victory, to victory. Our motto is a solid backward probing us along. Illuminate, illuminate, viva dibos lumen, in the light we shall see light. Illuminate to viva dibos lumen. For Christian training we get a sure solid foundation to take our places in the future of our country and church. For Christian training we get a sure solid foundation to take our places in the future of our country. Oh, come along and join us. Oh, come along and join us. Happy studios are we. Pardon our voices, guys. I mean, they didn't serve us good voices in Presec. Anyway, but I mean, we're all proud of Presec. We're proud of ourselves. And regards to all of that, yes, listening right now, who are also singing along.
Absolutely.
So after graduation, now you go to NC, do your national service, come back.
I came back and started working in Aluex.
Aluex, okay.
As an internal audit assistant.
And all this while, you were still actively in politics.
Yes, in Aluex, I became the union secretary. I was elected a union, in fact, assistant secretary to the local union.
Wow.
Fortunately for me, the secretary resigned, and I was asked to take up the responsibility of the secretary. So I was secretary for 2 terms. Then later elected as chairman for the local union.
Right.
And I mean, looking at the welfare of the workers, collective bargaining agreements, standing joint negotiating committee with the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, then with the TUC at the time. Then that was from 1991, 2nd December, and after 11 years, I have to go to study. I had a Children's Scholarship to go to Ruskin College in Oxford. So I left 28 September, it was a Saturday, to England. I arrived on Sunday. That was my first time in England. So that very Sunday, my younger brother was then there. We drove all the way to Oxford. That was when I started my employment relations studies.
Okay.
So I was there for a year. Then my lecturers, Tony, Roy Moore, I've forgotten the other lecturer's name. Because we are doing the industrial relations, a link up to employment studies. I said, look, Titus, Daniel, you have to go and do your master's at Warwick or Kiel, looking at your performance. So I said, I'm new, I don't know these schools. So choose one of the best schools for me, either Kiel or Warwick University. But eventually, they asked me to apply for Warwick. So I had admission at Warwick University in the Midlands, Coventry.
Okay.
So just after graduating from Ruskin, I have to move to Warwick to go and do my postgraduate diploma in comparative labor relations. But based on my coursework, I was asked to do the dissertation, the project that made me to get the MA in comparative labor studies in industrial relations and HR combined. That's what I did. So after that, I did a bit of small work, but my spirit doesn't like England. One, I don't like the cold. 2, you are too conservative, always indoors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I told
I don't know what you mean, actually.
What I mean is that my spirit doesn't want that environment.
No, but you were referring to you don't do something.
What I mean is that I'm not used to staying indoors.
Where do you want to go?
I mean, when you're in town, you can play around, move, see friends. I mean, with Christmas festivities, Easter, back in Europe, and you are indoors with your family. But at least you can go and visit your brother, your sibling. I mean, nothing. I don't drink, though I don't smoke. I don't do some of these things.
Never drunk?
Oh, I do. I've drunk a couple of times. Club 1938, a couple of times.
Okay.
But I don't drink anymore.
Anymore.
I don't drink anymore. So
why?
One, I'm diabetic. And it's not good for me. And because of this politics we do, you get home late, you eat late, and all kinds of funny things
Okay.
and all that. So I realized that it's not good for my health.
What work were you doing in the UK to survive?
You've also asked me another difficult question. Because to go and do your master's, that was without scholarship. It means that you need to prepare and work hard to raise money to fund for your studies. So I was doing caring.
What is caring?
Carer. You know,
Okay.
these nurses who go and clean the white people. Some of the whites, they are rich. They prepare for their old age. There's a place, hospitals that they go, and they have people who take care of them. They bath them, they clothe them, they give them food. And because it's a care home, their medication and everything is being taken care of. They pay for it. So there's a clinic, the hospital in Oxford called St. Luke's Hospital. That was the first place I worked as a carer.
As a carer?
I was doing cleaning
Wow.
in John Radcliffe Hospital just to raise money to go and pay for my fees. At that time, a year, we were paying about £12,000. So vacation, in England during term time, you work for only 20 hours a week. But in vacation, you can work unlimited hours. So I worked. So when I moved to Coventry, I live on campus, Claycroft. That was the residence for students.
Okay.
So vacation, I'll go and do valeting,
Yeah.
washing of cars, and that one is a good money.
I see.
It's good money. You wash one car, you can make about 12 quid.
Nice. So you
Do a
made
bit-
some money, yeah?
I did some, and that enabled me to pay for my fees. Other than I wouldn't be able to pay for it.
And when you were done, you were not willing to stay there.
I've told you, Lexis, I wanted to come back home to do politics.
To do
I wanted
politics?
to serve. I realized that, look, I now have the instincts and the potential to go up in politics. Because before leaving, I was assistant secretary for Tema East. I served 98 to 2002. To 2002, I was assistant secretary. I've been a member of the regional campaign in 2000 general election for Greater Accra. I've served in this party. The national campaign, 2008, I was a member of the Committee on Identifiable Groups. Honorable Alan Chemanti was then the chairman of that committee.
I see.
So politics all over me. So sitting in Europe, and in those days, they don't respect us. You go and look for a job, and one thing that really hurts me most is that if you are not an English or maybe the EU, you are classified as something different. They give priority. I have no problem with the British because that is their country. But the UUP guys, they give all the priority to these guys. And you as a black. Meanwhile, our forebearers were part of the development of England. You look at the slaves that were sent there. All these underground rail lines, all the big investment, slaves who comes from Africa, who comes from Gold Coast, were part of it. So if I've finished my studies and I'm going to get a good job I'm going to do, some job that, you know what I mean, let me come back home where I belong.
I see.
And contribute my quota.
Your journey through politics when you came back home too seemed very good because back in 2012 you won the bid to serve in Parliament for the people of Tema East.
In fact, when
With
I came back in 2006, I worked in Gassam as industrial relations coordinator
Okay.
for Tema and Takoradi ports. And I decided to contest for the 2008 general elections. But I was disqualified for no reason.
For no reason.
For no reason, for no apparent reason. I went to vetting everything, and I was waiting for the vetting report only to be told that you've been disqualified. And you know why? I left in 2002. At that time, the voter's ID card was black and white. And in 2004, it was changed to colored. So they are saying that because I don't have the current voter's ID card. Meanwhile, the EC will open the opportunity for those who are not around to come and register.
To register,
But because that was a threat at the time, quickly they have to mafia me and let me get out of the place. So I took it easy.
That was in 2008.
2008.
And in 2012.
So in 2012, in fact 2011, I tried again. We were four. My colleague Honorable Kofi Braku, the MP at the time, Honorable my uncle Ashon Na, myself and Ajiman Prempe. And I was last. Big flat. I was last. So, his Uncle Ken,
Yeah, that's Uncle Ken.
So I was last.
Yeah.
So the next day I jumped and I was defending the party and Nanado and everywhere. So I was far away in Bologatanga campaigning when I had a call that I should come back to Tema. At that time, the NDC have managed to, they had a hint that they are going to create a new Temais constituency. So I have to touch down. And the very people who were not supporting me at the time, when I had interest to contest, said, look, now this is your time. The Temai is going to be, new Temai is going to be formed. So we believe that this is the time for you to annex the seat for us. So within 45 days, that was when I moved in and I won the seat. So it started from there.
Yeah.
And
that's where you were able to win
by three
votes.
And the name MP3 came.
Yeah.
Then I entered Parliament as an opposition member.
Yeah.
I remember the first day when I caught the eye of Right Honorable Speaker Dua Jao. He was watching me with his face. Are you sure you're Honorable Titus Glover? I said, yes, Mr. Speaker. So please, you have the floor.
Wow.
And Parliament, if you're not careful, they can intimidate you on the floor. You must develop a thick skin. You know, they can bully you, and if you're not careful, you can distort your thoughts, and you'll be talking anyhow. But because we have the thick skin and we are communicating and all that, I built my confidence right from there, and we begin to flow and all that.
You served to my East for 2 terms.
Sure.
What's the proudest thing you achieved?
The proudest thing I've achieved is my desire to bring some, I'll call it, developments to the place. In the position, it was difficult, but I managed to do a lot. For example, I remember, because it's a typical fishing community, one of the suburbs of Tema New Town is called Bankuma. People who have built individual homes don't have toilet facility in their homes. So, per we call it a wilderness.
Yeah.
So people prefer the free range.
Yeah.
So they go into the bush, the SDA school, the naval quarters, the cemetery area to go and do their own thing. But I realized that no, this is not helpful. So I took a loan from a bank and put up a 46-seater WC toilet for the people of Bankuma.
I see.
That was the first night.
From your personal funds?
So I took a loan. I took a loan from the bank. Yes.
Yes, like
sure,
you personally finance it.
As I speak now, the money they are taking, the same money is there. Then also, what I did was that when you come to, as a young boy growing up at the age of about 10, 11, 12, my mother would send me to the market to go and buy food stuff. And she had cousins who sells in the market. And she would write all the ingredients. Then you ask me to go and see the sister called Auntie Alain, may so rest in peace. My auntie was an Asafwanye right now in Temama here now. Nansang. So they look at all the ingredients. They ask me to sit. Then they'll buy all the stuff, give it to me, I'll bring it home. But there's an area called the Bog Bay where these food stuff from the hinterlands that are brought into the market, that's where they are discharged. The plantains, the cassava, the fruit and all that. And the area they discharge it food, Lexis, if I tell you this is where they discharge food, you won't believe it. Filth. You see these Zoom Lion containers, cans all over the place. And the refuse is heaped. And you see this wastewater running all over. And food meant for human beings are being sold on the bare floor, on sacks. So now I need to do something for these things. So part of my common fund, I need to put something here. And most of these women who comes from the hinterland with the food stuff, there's no proper accommodation for them. There's a wooden structure, and these guys in the market have been hustling them, taking their money and all that. So look, I'll do something special. So quickly, I have to make sure I concretize the floor, big land, and put up a building, 2 rooms, one for the fruits women and one for the plantain and cassava people. Then I attached a washroom and a toilet to it. So in the market, when you want to use the washroom, quickly you go there, get yourself nice and all that. We did all that.
You really executed some
So that was
project.
in opposition. That was in opposition. At that time, there was no free SHS. And parents and students can and form queue in my mother's house, my personal house, my private office in Committee 4, just for support. So my common fund, 40% of the common fund was support to education, from SHS to polytechnic, to teacher training, to nursing training, to universities. Make sure we dealt with that. Then also, when it comes to Tema Newtown, the clinic that was built there was built by the Progress Party at the time. The land that was meant for expansion has been taken by the Ghana Navy. I said, look, this land, I have to take it for my people. So in opposition, I started fighting for that land. And kudos to my colleague, Honorable Makwoyongo, who was the MP for Navrongo Central at the time and Defense Minister. I approached him. He gave me 60 feet, but it was inadequate. But when we came to power, then I approached my senior Honorable Nitiwo, and they extended the land for me. Quickly, I looked for funding to wall it.
Okay.
As I speak to you now, GMPC was helping me to put up a 100-bed hospital right at the place. When you go to Tema Newtown, most of their roads are asphalted. I did it. When you go to the town, Tema Newtown, you know we have produced a lot of footballers, Shabukwe, Abrade, and all those guys. Through the help of Gapo, I was a deputy minister for transport. I facilitated and made sure I had something to show on election with the president in 2020 elections. Gapo have put up a first-class AstroTurf by Wembley.
I see.
At the place.
So
I can go on and on and on.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
on.
there are so many things that you can
my
list.
passion
is
about development of the Tema East Coast. And what I've done is legendary. Nobody can break that record.
So you did all these amazing things, but they didn't vote for you to retain your seat in
That's
2020.
a good question. It's a combination of two factors. Skirt and blouse. If you're not a genuine true patriot who understands politics, when you go to primaries and you lose, you come on board and support. I told you I was disqualified in 2008. I told you we were 4 and I was last. I was far away in Bolgatanga campaigning when I was called home. That now is your turn. So come and take the seat for us. But when you go to primaries and the healing process, because the loser doesn't believe that he has lost, they gang up against me. They gang up people in authority to do skirt and blouse. And the second point was the current MP, the NDC guy. He was the mayor when I was in opposition. Odamting. He had a problem with the assembly. Apparently, the mayor who came in our first term under President Akufo-Addo, he's called Honorable Nila. He took him to Yoko because there were some deals that he did in terms of contracts of revenue generation, and he took him to Yoko. I don't work in the assembly, my brother. So from 2018, the matter has been with Yoko. And because my people were not happy with my exploit, the way I was working, they felt that this is a time to nail me. 1 week to general election, they have to hurriedly hold Achai to the court.
I remember he was arrested.
Yes, I knew nothing about it.
You knew nothing about it?
I was not working in the assembly.
But you were blamed for it.
Absolutely. And the news went round like a wildfire.
And you think that's actually one of the reasons why you lost your seat?
That cost me. That cost me to lose that election with a margin. So, what is that? That is Glover. Yes. And funny, you know what they did? When they took him to the Commercial High Court, and the bail bond he could not satisfy, so many police stations in Accra, they could not keep him there. And they brought him to Tema, Komtilem police station. Lexis. They brought him all the way to Tema, Komtilem. And these are people that cleverly organized these things against me. Today, go and see how they are struggling there. I said, I've had enough. I'm not interested in parliamentary business anymore.
You're not going to go for the Tema
I'm not
East
interested.
constituency seat again?
No. I've had my bid. I've had my term. And now they can compare. Even in opposition, I was working. So if you are an opposition MP currently and you say your party is not in power, that is not an excuse. You must move out.
What did that loss teach you?
It taught me so many things like this. In this world, even though I knew that I would not be loved, it's made me to fear human beings. People have started confessing to me what they did against me. They walked to me and said, look, this man asked us to do this, do that. So clearly, it has taught me how to look at things. But in all these things, I've forgiven everybody. I've forgiven everybody. Even this evening, this afternoon when I was coming, my own uncle, my mother's distant cousin, who was in the thick of the opposition against me, he saw me. He said, "Uncle, my nephew, I'm hungry." I just took 100 cedis and I gave it to him. My uncle, I'll not mention his name. My mother's distant cousin.
I see.
It's called Kraku. I said, please.
Last year, you recorded another loss
Yes,
when you stood for the NPP national organizer.
How do you see my performance?
How do I see your performance?
Sure.
How did you see your performance?
I thought you could have even commend me for that brave project that I took, because I was even seen as an underdog. They never believed that I can reach that height. I decided to contest for the national organizer because I'm a typical grassroots person. The politics that we are doing at the national level in terms of the organization, for me, I don't see how serious it is. So that's why I expressed the interest to go and contest.
You think they didn't see the value in what you
I'm
were
saying
bringing?
is that Samir Wuku has moved out. He's no more interested. So the vacancy is there. So anybody at all can contest. That's why I put in my application to contest for that election. And they did not believe me until the results came. I won 11 out of 16 regions. The popular votes, party votes, I won that. That alone tells you that Titus Global is an asset to this party. So, since delegates have spoken, I give all my support to Nanabi. I have great respect for him. He also respects me as such. So we are working together to make sure we break the 8.
Do these losses discourage you sometimes?
Not at all. I'm a fighter. Not at all. Not at all.
What's your biggest regret?
How do I term it? My biggest regret? You mean in life or in politics?
In life, in politics, anything.
Biggest regret? Maybe the loss of the parliamentary elections.
Okay.
Because what I would have done for the constituency has been stalled.
Yeah.
Because the way I am bringing the speed of development, the East was up there. So 4 years, you can imagine they will have taken the constituency into.
There's so many things I would have loved for us to talk about, but unfortunately, we are running out of time.
Right now?
Yeah, I know, right? The 1 hour just came so fast.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Mamma mia.
But as we're wrapping up, what is that one advice you'd leave with anybody who looks up to you and who's listened to you today?
Lexis, what I want to say is that humility, service, and godliness pays a lot. Let me repeat. Humility, service, and godliness pays a lot. And any young man watching me this evening, don't ever think that anybody you see on the streets in a good car, in a good dress, walking around, just had it on a silver platter. People have toiled, people have sacrificed, people have burnt candles, people have gone extra mile to get where they are. So the best thing you need to do is get people you can tap into to mentor you. Yeah. And that is the only way you can make it. There's no need to rush.
And you are a great mentor to us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank
God
you,
bless
Lexis.
you. We're grateful.
Thank you,
that you joined us here on Personality Profile. I'm Lexis Bill, and I've been spending time with the original Choco Half Cast, Daniel Nikwate, Titus Glover.